So, welcome to our final session number 3. Well, it's not really our final session because I invite everyone to come back in what will be 90 days now. Seeing as if you last week you picked up your eggs, then it's like a 100-day incubation. If you pick them up today, then it'd be 100 days incubation, which I think would be just about Christmas time, which would be quite an amazing Christmas present. The rest of us, it would be an early Christmas present, but it depends if they're on time or late. They can be a few days or weeks either side. So yeah, I'm inviting people to come back and sort of say who was born, and then I'll explain a bit more later. But yeah, so just a quick recap of where we are. So those people that are watching this and haven't watched 1 and 2, you need to go back and watch sessions 1 and 2, and they'll be in the Facebook group, and I'll tag them so it's easy to find them. So we started with, I was in Rome and 42 dragon eggs came in, and I had no idea what to do with them, so I just put them somewhere safe. And then I went on a few journeys with them, and I found out that they were just a representation of dragons that wished to be born into this realm. So there might be 42 eggs, but actually 1,000 of you could have the same egg. So it's just a representation. It's not actually, that's all there are. There's millions of them. And the 42 that I found aren't necessarily all the eggs, so you might find some eggs that are a bit different. So the first week we just talked about the eggs. Last week we actually went and grabbed the eggs and we've put them into incubation, and they're going to be there for 100 days. And this time what we're going to do, we're going to talk about that 100-day process. Really, you don't need to do too much. Just keep an eye on them. Last week we put them in a nice safe space, either the garden that we went on a meditation to, or your own space, whichever ones you want. And then today we're going to talk about calling in the dragon elder. I'm going to go on a shamanic journey, and you get to call in the dragon elder that's going to come and look after your eggs once they're hatched. And you might want to use that later on, maybe a year, 6 months, who knows. At a certain point your little dragons are going to go, okay, I've had all the learning, or the elders are going to say that's all I can teach them, and the next one will come in, so it's like kindergarten. You go through the years of training. And at the moment I've been told like about 5 years is the period before they'll be mature enough to enter the world. That might be different because, like humans, dragons learn and progress at different stages, so you might have a genius one that does it in 2 years or maybe quicker. So these aren't rules, they're just things I've been told. If you're interested in some resources, there's wisdom cards, books to read, and I'll share all those in the Facebook group. Hello Elizabeth, you haven't missed anything yet, we're just starting. So that was the beautiful guardian of the eggs who we've met, and she's now still guarding the other eggs. We talked about the incubation last week and 100 days of incubation, and we had this spell to protect them. You can use that if you like, but put in whatever protection you want to around the eggs just to keep them safe. And we just really talked about that beautiful garden and where you can put them. And we've got another incantation, and then we're back to week 3. So we're on week 3. So your eggs are now in that beautiful safe space, and if last week you picked them up, then in theory about the 20th of December they'll crack out of their eggs, which would be quite beautiful. And if you took them yesterday, then obviously be a few days later. And I'm not saying it's definitely to be that date, just keep going and checking. What we want to do today is call in or introduce you to the dragon elders, and we're going to go on a shamanic journey. And what we'll do is we'll go to the place that you've stored the eggs. You'll allow the dragon elder to come in, and they'll just come in and say hello and check over the eggs, and then they'll say, okay, fine, call me once they're born. And you might want to leave it a few months after they're born because they're a bit too young to be trained, and then call the dragon elders in then. As I say, the dragons will grow quickly. So 5 years old is like equivalent of, I'm being told, sort of adulthood, i.e. 21-year-old human. So they grow very quickly, and in theory they live forever. When they come in, they're trained by the dragon elder, and they teach them everything they need to know about dragons and how their skills are, but they don't train them how to work with humans. So you might want to train them in you as a human, how you work, what you do, things you do, how you'd like to work with them, or you could teach them about the whole of humanity. That's completely up to you. Dragons don't truly understand how weak and feeble our human bodies are, so you need to teach them that. Otherwise they might sort of flick you a bit too hard or something, or flame you and you're not flame proof and they think you might be. So it's just all those little things you need to teach them. And I've got a little list that you can go through, and again I'll share all of that. The important thing about today is to go on the journey to meet the dragon elders, or the elder that's going to come in. That's an example of one of the dragon elders, look very regal, sitting there with his little cloak on, and that's a bit like the one that's currently in with my dragon called Fiery. I say I'm her dragon dad, and she's on her second dragon elder. The first one's come in, is like, well, I can't teach her anymore, so the second one's come in, which is beautiful. So some of the things that you might want to train your dragon in about human ways, and I'm not going to go into great detail here, but they don't understand that we're mainly single tasking, that they're able to think of many things at once. They can't quite understand that we can't fly. They don't understand that really. The concept of time to them, that's an earth-based thing. Where they've come from, it doesn't really exist, so that you have to teach them about that. You need to teach them about human emotions, and because they don't really fully understand that at all. They don't understand really our limitations, so you want to maybe teach them that. So I'm just going to nip through these and I'll post them for you. And then the human language, you want to teach them, if you know different languages, if you know Dutch, you know French, you know German, you know English, you know Japanese, whatever, you might want to teach them lots of different languages, but that they don't fully understand that our minds can't communicate with them. Most humans aren't able to communicate, they can only communicate with their mouth, but dragons will communicate straight into your mind, so you might want to practice that with them. They don't really understand our technology. They don't understand our fascination with these little things that we walk around with all the time. They'll be like, what are you doing? So you might want to teach them about that. And they don't, as I say, they don't understand how powerful they are and strong compared to us. So there's some things you can teach them. And then once they are born and you're doing the training, then really it's just a case of being with them as you would a good friend. So you're just really bringing them up. Most of the dragons that you've picked, those dragons may stay with you, or it might be a case of you're bringing them up for them to leave and go to someone else. So don't get too attached to them. You're almost a bit like you're bringing them up. So you're almost fostering them. However, they always remember you. They'll always be there for you. They'll always come back when you need them. But yeah, some of them will be with you forever. You're meant to be with them, and you'll figure that out as you go along. Once we've done the 100 days and they've been birthed, they've been incubated, your dragon tutors have come in, I'm just saying in the Facebook group, just share whatever it is that you've seen, whatever it is you felt. Even if it sounds a bit silly, because somebody else might be thinking, oh, I'm not going to post that. I think it's just good for us all to share. Otherwise, it's just a case of, we've done this 3 weeks course and that's it, you've forgotten about it. But really, I want people to share about who the dragons are, what they think the dragons are up to. Who knows why all of these eggs are being birthed now? I don't know. At some point, maybe as a group, we'll come together and go, this is the reason why. At the moment, it's just a case of bring them up, and in 5 years' time, who knows where the world will be and how these dragons will assist us. Thing is to have some fun. So that's why I've done a picture of a lady on a motorbike and the dragon flying next to them. Because a friend of mine was saying that when she goes out on her motorbike, her dragons fly behind her because they just love the fact she's going so fast and crazy. So if you're up to doing that, then do it. If not, just do something less dangerous. Cool. So what I want us to do now is to go on that shamanic journey. So we're going to have in our hearts and in our minds that we want to call in the dragon elder that has been assigned from the dragon councils to us. And I say the first dragon that will come in is going to come in and assist you at the beginning. They may not stay with you the whole time. You may go through many dragon elders, and really they're dragon teachers. They're coming in to teach the dragon. So we're just going to connect to them. I've already called them in, and it seems that they're very keen to meet us. And what they'd like to do is they'd like you to go on a shamanic journey in your minds to wherever your eggs are. That is very secure, and at the moment is fully protected. So you need to let them in. You need to authorize that they can come in, and they'll come in. They'll only be allowed in when you allow them in. And once they're in, this time they'll go back. But once the eggs are hatched, you can call them in straight away if you want, or leave it a few weeks and have a bit of fun with them, then call them in and send them to dragon school. So if you want to roll, just finish, stop sharing, put the sound on, make sure everyone's on mute. Beautiful. So let's all just do what we normally do, is take a few breaths. Just center yourself. Clear your minds. Come into your heart space. You're here to call on the dragon elder that's been assigned to you and your eggs. Remember that once we get to our sacred spaces, you need to give them permission to enter. And then just really spend some time with them. Maybe they'll impart some wisdom. Okay, so start that journey now. Allow your free soul to head towards the place that your eggs are saved, that safe space. Walk there now, fly there now, however it is you want to get there. If you're using the garden, remember to use your sacred word to open the door. Find your way in. Find your way to your egg or your eggs, however many you have. And sit by the eggs. Take a moment now just to be with the eggs for a moment. Call on the dragon masters to come now to each and every one of us, to come now while we are live, to come now if you're on replay. May the energies contained within this be stored in the replay forever. Okay, I'm going to play the drum while the dragons come in. All you need to do is call them in, be with them, be with the eggs. Come to us, elders. Okay, just be with your eggs for a little while. Commune with them. Let them know you're here. Okay, when you're ready, say the goodbyes for now and exit wherever it is you are. If you're in the garden, leave the garden. Remember to close it off, put any protection back in place, and then head back slowly to your reality, this moment, this now, back into your bodies. No rush. Come back into your bodies when you're ready. Once you're back, just let us know. You can put, if you don't want your camera on, just put a 1 in the chat so I know if you're back. Perfect. I assume everyone's back. As I say, that was just for you to say hi, hello Dragon Elder. I'll be calling you in about 100 days or so. And if you need to go on the journey again, this recording will be there, so you can do that whenever you want to. Just call in the dragons. And say, once they're born, do teach them about you and your version of humanity. And do share in our little Facebook group. 3 of my eggs have hatched. They're this colour, this is their names, or whatever it is. Maybe tell us who your dragon tutor is if you get a name. Mama doesn't give me a name, he just sort of looks at me and sort of, yep, I'm here. It's like, fair enough. And then what I thought we'd do, if there's enough people interested, we'll get together in early 2025, maybe late January or early February, just share whatever it is that's going on. And then over the weeks, months, years, whatever, maybe something will come out that we'll realise that's why we've been picked, why we've been chosen to work with these eggs. And do have some fun with them. I wasn't planning on having any more eggs because I was gifted an egg a while back, and my dragon called Fiery, the little one, she's probably nearly a year old now and doing well. And while I was on the journey a minute ago, the dragon master came in and said, "Oh, actually, Kevin, you picked up 42, so you have to look after 42." I was like, what the so I was like, okay, so I'm gonna have a little army in 100 days. I was like, to what purpose? And like, as with all of these things, like, you'll find out. Just do this first step. So I was like, will I get more than one trainer, one master? Oh yeah, you'll get more than one to come in. Don't worry. So like, okay, fine. So I thought I got away with just teaching you guys. That seems I'm going to have 42. So I'll be sharing what stories I have. So it could be interesting. I was watching all the lambs being birthed on telly the other day on Clarkson's farm, and then imagine 42 dragons being birthed. At least they can't get stuck, but sometimes I think you do have to help with opening of the shell, so it could be interesting. Oh, that beautiful pussycat. Did anyone else want to share anything that came up for them? As always, you don't have to, but if you want to, yep, Georgie.
Oh, thanks, Kevin. That was amazing. I haven't done that much with dragons, so I'm all a bit of a newbie, and it's all a bit of a I don't quite know what to expect. Um, so the eggs are in a dragon cave
Mm-hmm.
on sheep's wool because it insulates and keeps them at the right temperature. So in this warm volcanic alcove, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And they're being already protected by my two other dragons, who are here in the crystal form. This one and this one.
Beautiful.
And they told me they are the dragon elders. And I was like, okay, okay. So I went to meet them and they were happy to see me. And then I was just sort of chatting away to them and we were looking at the eggs and they were really excited. And then I turned around and in the opening of this cave, so it's open to it's right high up, so it's in the mountains. I
Mm-hmm.
looked and this black and red dragon with massive scales, huge thing, comes in and lands. And I was like, oh, what's this? And this black and red dragon is the dragon elder teaching them because they're in teacher training.
Oh wow. Cool.
So he's going to oversee them because they've never done it before. They've never raised little dragons before. So they're in training. They've got two eggs to look after between them. So I wasn't expecting that. His name is Kazar, and you've got to pronounce the R at the end. He said, would you like to go for a ride? And I was like, oh my word, I'm really scared. And he said, don't be afraid. He said, I won't frighten you. I'll look after you. I'll protect you. I then realised he is the red dragon that I freed about 2 or 3 months ago, who I had chained up in another life and was doing my bidding still in the etheric or the astral. Turns out he's an aspect of my husband. This is bonkers, I know. So I'd released him, and then as a result, the relationship with him's got so much better. And he said, I'm happy to work with you and do these things. So there's more of a balance, if you like.
Mm-hmm.
So he took me off and he said, you're at Dragon Island. You're on Dragon Island. And the dragon's absolutely everywhere. And apparently Dragon Island is beyond the ice wall. So there's more to Earth beyond the ice wall, wherever that is. And he showed me everything, and he even skimmed the surface of the sea so the spray came up, went all over my face. And then he showed me the baby dragons in little like pools being taught to swim.
Cool.
Yeah. And then he showed me all the other dragons in their hides and everything else. And then it was time to come back. The drum was getting stronger, so we came back. And yeah, that's it. He's going to come back when they've been, or when they're being born, or when they've been born, to help them with the next bit. Yeah.
Perfect. I love it. And it's not bonkers. It all makes sense.
I don't know.
I've heard it all now.
Oh, have you? Oh God, okay.
Don't worry. Don't apologise for it sounding bonkers. It might sound bonkers to you, but I've heard it all. It sounds completely normal to me.
Okay. Thank you.
That's
Thank
perfect.
you.
I love it. I love
Thank
it.
you for that clarification.
I love that you've got some dragons that are trainee ones, apprentices in bringing up. Yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it?
He said humans should do the same. They need to go back to their ways, the old ways.
Yeah, well, we do. Yeah, we need those apprenticeships and people coming of age and the challenges and all those sort of things. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Ah, Georgie, thank you for sharing. That was gorgeous.
Thank you for listening.
No, we love listening. Anyone else? Elizabeth.
Oh, I had 3 elders show up. Red, black, and gold, in robes, and I have a total of 8 eggs, counting the one that lodged itself in my womb that wasn't in the list.
Yeah.
And I have 1 fire egg, and I keep it on the hearth. And that feels very phoenix energy, feminine. The one that I'm carrying is female. Her name is Celine. And I can see her coiled inside, like she's not even in an egg casing anymore. She will be white and gold.
Beautiful.
There's the one that I'm calling like a nature. His name is Ascalon. I don't really see his form yet, but he's speaking. He's told me his name, and I have it's kind of like ocean, froth, storm, water. And then the one who calls himself Starlight is the black with gold, with white, with the speckles. And the black one with the purple nebula-like coloring. And silly kitty. But I have them all in a nest. And the elders came in and said, "We see you. We'll be back when you need us."
Beautiful.
It's like, good job. You always were one to bite off more than you could chew. I guess we'll help you chew.
Yeah, that's one of my worries. Is when the dragons start teething, what happens then? They chew. Not me.
Right.
Some big bones, I'm sure. Cool. Thank you for sharing. That's beautiful. Anyone else? Raven or Anita? Yep.
No, I was in my garden, and my egg. I have 1 egg, and it's green, and it's under a tree, and the roots are guarding it. It lies in a very nice light space, and when I called it the Elder, it was a very green dragon with yellow eyes, and it says, "Do you want to fly?" And I was okay. And yeah, I had a lot of fun flying and seeing the garden from above and seeing the tree, and it was really nice. So yeah, that's
Cool.
it.
Cool. That's
Yeah,
good. Yeah, and I mean, the dragons always say to me that us humans, we make a bit of a ritual of everything. I mean, I've made a ritual of this, and
yeah,
then you don't need to do that. You can just in your mind just relax, sit down, go to the
yeah,
garden, call me in, or wherever it is, call me in wherever you are. You don't need to. So they're like you call your best mate up, go, hey, I'm just popping around for coffee.
yeah,
Do that. They say like do that to us because you humans seem to think you have to do all these things and call us in, and they say we do like that. It's nice now and again to have a bit of a fancy, like you have your fancy party with your friends, don't you? But most of the time you just pop around and have a cup of tea and a few biscuits, don't you? Have a
yeah.
chat. They said just
Just
do
like
that more
that.
with
Yeah,
us, connect with us more, and make it just a friendship. Um,
yeah,
don't worry too much about where we're going. And my brain's always out there, 5 years ahead. Just do the
yeah,
next step. Do the next step, and it'll all become clearer
yeah.
as you go along.
That's true.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
So whether you've got one egg or 42 eggs or five or six or two or whatever it is, it doesn't matter that you're supported, and there's no competition. Who's got the
hmm,
most eggs or anything? It's nothing like that. There's no ego in this. It's just we're all helping each other out. Um,
hmm,
yeah, and I'm sure at some point we'll all come together. And I've done it before, where you have a journey and you bring in all of your power animals, and these are our power animals in many ways, and you get to
yeah,
see each other's, which is beautiful. So
mm,
that's really powerful. If you really open yourself to it, you can go on a journey and meet other people's dragons in this case, which would be amazing. So we'll maybe do that in our January February party next year. See what happens if people are up for that. But yeah, so just keep connecting with your eggs when they do hatch, and if you've got any issues, call in the elders, and they'll be like, "Yeah, get out of the way, human. I'll sort it out." Like they do. But they're very matter of fact. Maybe that's one of the things you could teach the new ones to be a bit more. Yes, sir. No, sir. Please. Maybe teach them the P's and Q's, and because they don't understand the human side so much. So that's something you could sort of teach them, so that when they do grow up, they're a little bit more socially less awkward. Let's say. So that'd be good. But yeah, I mean the group's opening on Facebook. I'm available if anyone's got any questions or anything. Boundaries, yeah. Definitely set some boundaries up, because I'm like, I've got horses and they're huge big things, and if you let them get away with it, they'll trample all over you. And some people don't look after them. I've got the two are bringing them in, and they're like, nope, nope. Well, other people's like, "Arr!" And it's the same. I think the dragons, you need to just teach them that they're big and powerful, but actually, I'm in charge. So listen. So if you've got children, I'm sure you already know that. So if you've got any sort of animals, unless you've got cats, then there's no chance. They're in charge. But yeah, the group's there. Do whatever you want to do, and all those people watching the replay saying things to you. The energy's in here. The three videos are there. So if you want to go and pick some more eggs up because you think you need some more, you're allowed to do that. Just make sure you speak to the guardian, make sure she knows you're coming, and as I always say, she likes the dark chocolate, so a little bit of bribery always helps. Yeah, so just do that, and we will hopefully see you in the group saying my 5, my 6, my 2, my 1 have all hatched, and it's perfectly healthy and all the rest of it. And I'm sure they will be. And if there's any issues, then just come into the group and say. Cool. Any thoughts? Any questions for anyone? No? Good. Cool. Well, it's beautiful to see you all. Enjoy the rest of your mornings, afternoons, evenings, and days. And I'm off to Peru next Wednesday for 19 days, so I'll be out of communication, but I will definitely be connecting with the Peruvian dragons. So when I get back, if there's anything to share, I will share it. Let's just check the messages. I'm from Raven. You're welcome, Raven. Beautiful to see you all, and I will catch you all soon. Enjoy those flights of them dragons.